Have you ever imagined a courtroom, the sacred hall of justice and order, turning into the wildest stage for human drama? From defendants fainting at the moment of their life sentence, to jaw-dropping brawls in front of the judge, and even a lawyer accidentally appearing as a talking cat on Zoom. Here, tears, screams, laughter, and shock all explode within four walls once meant for solemnity. Get ready to witness 10 unbelievable moments that shook the world and forever changed the way we see justice. If these stories blow your mind, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to uncover even more jaw-dropping secrets with us. Juan Bibbria probably thought this would be a routine court appearance. Just another bond hearing in Eagle, Colorado. He walked in, trying to look calm and collected, even though he was facing drug charges. The courtroom was tense, with Bibbria seated next to another defendant in red. Suddenly, a faint thud broke the silence. All eyes turned as a small plastic bag, filled with white powder, tumbled onto the floor between the two men. Bibbria quickly tried to play it cool, but his eyes darted nervously. A police officer stepped over, asking both men what happened. Bibbria insisted, "It's not mine. Maybe it belongs to the guy in red." But things weren't adding up. The officer calmly asked them to step into the hallway, away from the judge. There, Bibbria continued to protest his innocence, but couldn't explain how the bag just happened to be at his feet. "Let's check the security cameras," the officer suggested. When they reviewed the footage, Bibbria's luck ran out. Caught on camera, the baggie clearly fell from his hat as he took it off. In a matter of seconds, his denial fell apart. The courtroom, once full of tension, now buzzed with whispers and suppressed laughter as Bibbria was arrested again. This time, right in front of the judge, cameras, and a room full of witnesses. It was a moment so absurd, it became legendary on the internet. Proof that sometimes real life is stranger than any courtroom drama. In the long, colorful history of courtroom drama, few defendants have ever tried to escape justice with such blatant theatrics as Kesan Wilkins. Facing a serious felony assault charge in Dayton, Ohio, Wilkins decided to represent himself, standing alone at the defense table as he pleaded for the judge to believe in his innocence. As the evidence stacked higher against him and the judge's questions became sharper, Wilkins's confidence visibly crumbled. His voice grew shaky, his hands fidgeted with his papers, and beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. Sensing that the verdict was not going his way, Wilkins made a sudden, desperate move. Clutching his chest, he cried out in apparent pain and collapsed dramatically to the floor, claiming a heart attack. Chaos erupted in the courtroom. Officers rushed to his side, the judge ordered a recess, and paramedics were summoned in record time. But after a thorough examination, the medical professionals declared Wilkins in perfect health, finding no sign of any heart condition or emergency. Still, Wilkins doubled down, slumping over in his chair, pretending to be unconscious, eyes closed, unmoving, refusing to respond even as the judge repeatedly called his name. Determined to proceed, court officers waved smelling salts under his nose, trying to break through the act. Yet Wilkins remained committed, refusing to move, almost as if he believed his performance could sway the outcome. In the end, the judge saw through the charade. Wilkins not only received 42 years for his original crime, but earned extra punishment for disrupting the process. His infamous performance quickly became an internet legend, a wild, expensive lesson about the dangers of overacting in the face of justice. There are courtroom moments so shocking that everyone in the room is left speechless. Joshua Harding, a defendant in Lansing, Michigan, had already been convicted of sexually assaulting a child. As he faced new charges, Harding sat motionless at the defense table, his face cold and tense. Suddenly, everything took a terrifying turn. While prosecutor Jonathan Roth was presenting the case, Harding suddenly sprang from his chair, wielding a homemade sharp weapon. He aimed straight for the prosecutor's neck with alarming speed, determined to take revenge after feeling insulted by the court's arguments. But a quick-thinking, plainclothes police detective reacted instantly, knocking Harding to the floor and protecting the prosecutor from serious harm. The chaos erupted in seconds, with other officers rushing in to subdue Harding, pinning him and snapping handcuffs on him right in front of everyone. The entire scene unfolded before the stunned audience as the prosecutor's colleagues hurried to check for injuries. Luckily, no one was seriously hurt. For this reckless attack, Harding was sentenced to an additional 30 to 60 years in prison, stacked on top of his previous sentence for sexual assault. This wild moment became a powerful lesson about the danger that can strike even in the supposed safety of a courtroom. Some courtroom moments are so unbelievable, it's hard to know whether to laugh or cry. Corey Harris, a defendant in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, was charged with driving while his license was suspended. In this digital era, Harris was allowed to attend his court hearing via video call instead of appearing in person, but he made a mistake no one could have anticipated. When the judge and attorneys called Harris's name, his camera turned on, and everyone saw him sitting behind the wheel, driving to his doctor's office. The judge was speechless for a moment before asking for confirmation. "Are you driving right now?" Harris calmly replied, "Yes, I'm just pulling into the parking lot. Give me a second." Meanwhile, the entire courtroom realized the defendant was committing the very crime he was being tried for, driving with a suspended license right in front of the judge on a live video call. Not only the judge, but even Harris's attorney was left stunned, unable to defend him. Immediately, Harris's bond was revoked and he was ordered to turn himself in to the county jail that same evening. Failure to comply would mean a no-bond bench warrant for his arrest. Harris's cluelessness became a viral sensation and a vivid reminder of the consequences of ignoring the law, even in the digital age. If you've ever witnessed moments as unbelievable as this, let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom stories. The digital age has brought great convenience to the justice system, but it has also led to some of the most hilarious mishaps imaginable. One of the most iconic moments is the now legendary cat lawyer incident featuring Rod Pontton in Texas. During a serious Zoom hearing, as the judge and other attorneys prepared to begin, Rod Ponton's video feed appeared, showing him with the face of a wide-eyed, confused cartoon kitten. Startled, Pontton quickly tried to explain, "Your Honor, I'm not a cat. I'm here live. I'm not a cat. I just can't turn off the filter." The other lawyers and the judge struggled to keep a straight face, while Ponton's assistant desperately tried to remove the effect without success. Despite the embarrassment, Pontton bravely pressed on. "I'm prepared to go forward with this, but I'm not a cat." This moment instantly became a viral meme, making millions around the world laugh at the tech troubles of an experienced lawyer. Even the judge couldn't resist recording and posting the clip on Twitter, warning everyone to double-check their filters before joining a Zoom call. Sometimes, what makes the courtroom unforgettable isn't the tense verdicts or dramatic confessions, but these simple, relatable, and utterly human moments. In the courtroom, there are moments when emotions explode far beyond anything expected. Robert G., a name now known throughout Muskegon, Michigan's legal circles, left everyone in stunned silence on the day his verdict was announced. The story began on a summer night, when G snuck into a busy bar's parking lot, and stole a car under the cover of darkness. The car's owner noticed too late to stop him, but Jacob Ramo, the owner's 26-year-old brother, bravely jumped onto his motorcycle and gave chase through the night. The pursuit was short, but ended in tragedy. In a panic, G leaned out the car window and fired his gun at Ramo, who fell instantly, his motorcycle crashing in a stranger's front yard. The Ramo family was left shattered, and G was soon arrested, facing first-degree murder charges. Inside the courtroom, a heavy, almost suffocating tension hung over every seat. The victims' loved ones sat with photographs and tears in their eyes. The judge read the sentence slowly: life in prison without parole. At first, G sat motionless, his eyes blank, seemingly resigned to his fate. But only a second later, his body trembled, his head fell back, and he fainted in his chair. Court officers rushed to help, while G's sister broke down, screaming and trying to reach her brother as police comforted her. The chaos continued for several minutes as witnesses sat in stunned silence, watching the psychological collapse unfold. G was carried from the courtroom unconscious, the hearing forced to pause. Behind the image of a defendant collapsing under the weight of punishment lies the unending pain of the victim's family, and a haunting reminder of the enormous price every crime must pay before the law. There are moments in the courtroom that leave everyone utterly shocked, unable to believe what they've just witnessed. William Green, a defendant in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, was on trial for assaulting a healthcare worker at the mental health hospital where he'd previously been treated. The hearing was proceeding as usual, with Green seated beside his public defender, attorney Julie Chase, in the area reserved for defendants and several other inmates. Without warning, as Ms. Chase was addressing the judge, Green suddenly stood up, turned, and punched his own lawyer squarely in the head. The blow was so forceful that Chase collapsed to the floor in front of everyone. Officers rushed over, tackling Green to the ground, while the other inmates and court staff sat frozen in disbelief. Ms. Chase was quickly taken to the hospital, but fortunately suffered only minor injuries and was discharged a few hours later. After this incident, court security measures were immediately tightened. Attorneys and staff now had to keep a greater distance from defendants, and all inmates were required to remain handcuffed throughout proceedings. Green faced an additional assault charge and was transferred to a mental health facility for further evaluation before any future trial. This violent outburst serves as a stark reminder that danger can strike even in the courtroom when emotions spiral out of control. Have you ever seen such a shocking moment? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more unbelievable courtroom stories. Not every trial ends in silence and peace. Adrienne Cosby, a defendant in Miami, Florida, was tried for first-degree murder and armed robbery at just 18 years old. The heartbreaking story began with a planned Yeezy sneaker sale, but instead of paying, Cosby pulled a gun on young couple Andrea Camps-Leo and her boyfriend, shooting Andrea dead on the spot when she refused to hand over the shoes. During the trial, Andrea's parents had the chance to confront the person who took their daughter's life. In unimaginable pain, Andrea's father called Cosby an animal and declared the only place he belonged was in prison for the rest of his life. In that instant, Cosby lost all control, lunging across the courtroom at the grieving father, forcing security guards to rush in and restrain him before any harm could be done. The atmosphere turned instantly tense. The victim's family broke down in tears, while Cosby was dragged out by officers amid shouting and chaos. Ultimately, Cosby was sentenced to 2 life terms without parole, plus 25 years for armed robbery. This violent moment left an unforgettable mark, one of loss, pain, and rage, a powerful reminder that justice sometimes unfolds in tragedy and tears, even within the very halls meant for it. Not every court hearing takes place in peace and order. Christopher Jackson, a defendant in Lynn County, Oregon, left behind one of the most chaotic scenes ever recorded in a courtroom. Jackson was charged with trespassing, unlawful use of a weapon, and resisting arrest. Appearing in court with his defense attorney and mother, he displayed a blatant disregard for authority and respect, showing little interest in the proceedings. Things quickly escalated as Jackson's mother and lawyer pleaded with him to stay calm, but his agitation only grew. Suddenly, Jackson swung a chair at a court employee, then shoved and attacked his own lawyer. The struggle that followed was intense. His attorney wrestled Jackson to the ground in a desperate effort to restrain him, while officers rushed in to help contain the situation. In the end, Jackson not only had to be physically subdued, but also left multiple bite marks and scratches on the faces and arms of staff and deputies. He was sentenced to an additional 6 years in prison for the violent outburst, while his original charges remained pending. This moment stands as a stark reminder that even in the halls of justice, people can lose all self-control, and those working in the legal system face real dangers every day, right where they seek to uphold the law. It's not only defendants who create courtroom drama. Sometimes the judge themselves becomes the center of controversy. Judge Michael Bachmann of Cincinnati, Ohio, drew public outrage after a highly questionable incident. When Cassandra Jackson arrived late to request a protection order, she was told to come back another day. But instead of letting it go, Judge Bachmann left the courtroom, found Jackson in the hallway, grabbed her, and physically forced her back to the jury box. He berated her, declared her in contempt, and ordered her immediate arrest. The entire incident was caught on camera, sparking fury across social media and in the press. Jackson ended up spending only 2 days in jail, thanks to another judge's release order, while Bachmann faced an investigation and was forced to resign. This moment serves as a reminder that, no matter how high the position, actions that abuse the limits of justice can lead to serious consequences. Not all shocking courtroom moments take place in America. The terrorist attack at Crocus City Hall in Moscow truly stunned the world. Delerion Mirzoyv and 3 accomplices stormed into a crowd of nearly 6,000 people, firing weapons and setting the building ablaze, causing the roof to collapse and leaving 145 dead and more than 500 injured. When captured and brought to court, Mirzoyv appeared with severe injuries, at times unconscious or his eye heavily bandaged. All of Russia was shocked to see the defendants in wheelchairs, silently bowing their heads before justice. This was not only a monstrous crime, but also a reminder of the devastating consequences of extremist violence, the pain lingering with the victims' families and the whole society. In the somber atmosphere of the Moscow courtroom, a haunting question remains: can justice ever truly heal wounds this deep, inflicted by human hands? The Crocus City Hall case will forever be a scar on the nation's memory. The courtroom, supposedly a place of pure logic and fairness, turns out to be where the rawest emotions and deepest human dramas are revealed. Each trial, every moment in the hot seat, proves that justice is not just about numbers on a verdict, but also about tears, rage, helplessness, and sometimes even unexpected humor. Behind every story are heartbreak, hopes for redemption, and unforgettable lessons about boundaries, self-control, and the consequences of our choices. Some mistakes can shatter lives in an instant, while a single reckless act may leave scars that never truly heal. Yet through it all, we come to appreciate the real value of composure, courage, and compassion in a world full of turmoil. If these stories made you reflect, leave a comment, share your feelings, or tell us about the most unforgettable moment you've ever witnessed. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss more unbelievable tales, hidden truths, and lessons about the humanity behind courtroom doors. Justice isn't always cold and mechanical. It can be stormy, surprising, and deeply human.